There's Mandy's finger,
Yeah.
and that means it's time to start the show.
Getting the finger again.
Yeah.
Jesus,
Seems
every
like
week
I
we
go
get
through
it.
life
You
having
should be used
women
to it by
giving
now.
me the
4
finger.
years, you think you would just ignore it.
This is
Well,
the
you
top.
don't want to ignore it.
Yeah, don't.
Well,
don't
yeah,
ignore it.
I'm talking about in the sense that you're.
Yeah.
So this is the Top 40 Timeline video show that goes hand in hand with the radio show, and we're brought to you this week by radio425.com, and they're a newer station from Windsor, Ontario, and they carry the timeline on the weekends.
Hi, guys.
And the Big 20, which is our new music show as well with Bill Smith.
Yeah.
So we'd like to welcome them to the, we're going to link up on their social media or do whatever we have to do there on Facebook. And just make sure you don't put news or weather or sports in there.
That's right.
Because here in Canada, we can't.
Okay, so I've been watching. Twitter can still do it.
Yeah.
TikTok can still do
No,
it.
it's just anything
It's just
meta.
Facebook.
Anything
Meta.
the meta, anything that's
Instagram
meta business,
and all that stuff.
which is Instagram, Facebook for the most part. Those are the two big ones.
This has to
but
be
those
the
are
dumbest
that's
thing
the
I've
one.
ever seen in media. Just stupid, ridiculous.
All about money
Like-
and power,
When
money
they
and power.
legalized pot, I think all the politicians went to the pot store and got themselves some gummies.
Yeah.
Oh no, they'd
What
love
kind?
relax on things in there
Yeah.
now. I'm not sure I agree with that one. Oh my goodness. We could do that though. We could suggest it.
Good, absolutely.
It's the week in rock and roll history on the show as always.
is, and-
What's going
And
on?
starting off with a great one.
Well,
There you
we'll
go,
start
Leah.
off with a little,
Oh,
a
by the
couple
way,
little tidbits.
This is Leah Lywood and Lee Lakin. I'm not doing my job as a host of the show. I'm
And
not
this is
really
Big
a
Daddy.
host. Yeah.
And of course, we
And,
got Amanda Bassenpier with us
yeah,
as well.
she's as well,
She's,
yeah.
That was
part-
next.
Part of
And,
the crew.
And can you see how tall Leah is there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leah's only 5'1". We're 6'2" each, but she's on a high chair. There you go. She's got her high chair today.
I'm happy.
Yes. What's going on?
So let's see, a couple of tidbits here. 1974, Keith Richards was nominated the world's most elegantly wasted human being by the New Musical Express.
1975, 1976,
And-
and to today.
And to 2023. It has not changed.
No.
He's still the top on that one.
I don't know. Ozzy's a close second, man.
Yeah,
I'll tell
he's
you.
a-
No,
Very
he
close
is.
second.
He
Did
is.
you ever
he
see
is.
what Ozzy said to the Queen? Never
His
mind.
was more alcohol. Yeah, he did a little bit of everything, but as
Yeah.
he got older,
Yeah.
it was more alcohol. I don't know, yeah, Keith has settled for quite a while now, too, in terms of certain aspects of his drug use, but I don't know. Anyways, Lou Reed's first concert was The Moon Glows on an Alan Freed package show.
I wouldn't put that together.
No.
Yeah. I wouldn't. Lou
Yeah.
Reed.
Strange guy, though.
Yeah.
What a strange dude.
A bit of a dick.
Oh, I heard he's
From what
big dick.
from what I like, as far as media trying to get interviews with him, there's not a good interview with Lou Reed
No.
out there.
See,
There's
and
nothing.
the thing is you can if you compare, I mean, totally different, obviously. But Prince and him, Prince hated media too, but he always handled it in such a
Oh, he was
a
very-
beautifully
classy,
way. Like he'd break
classy.
out playing music
He
instead
was-
of
he was very,
talking,
very diplomatic.
He was
about it.
shy.
As opposed to
Prince
this.
was shy. He
Very
was
much so.
talented, but he was shy.
Yeah,
Very
but
much.
he
so.
also didn't want to talk to the media because he didn't want things blown up,
Yeah.
right?
All
So he
right,
handled it very well.
1960. A 17-year-old Barry lad completes his fourth month prison term for stealing 300 tires from a Cadillac dealership. Having heard Elvis sing "It's Now or Never" in prison, he leaves determined to
now
make music
or
his
never.
life.
I didn't know.
And,
I didn't know about that one.
How many people
Barry
have
White.
gotten laid to Barry White?
Barry White had that voice.
Yeah,
You know?
oh, I tell you.
Who knows?
I can't do it. I can't even get
I
that deep.
just can't keep my hands on myself.
You just had that, you know.
Yeah, I can't.
That's
keep my
in your
hands.
boots.
Yeah. 1964. This is a good one. The Beatles smoked pot for the first time, supplied by Bob
Bob
Dylan. Big surprise. He joins the band after one of their concerts in New York State. Dylan's surprised that they haven't tried it before, as he thought they sang "I Get High" in their song "I Want to Hold Your Hand," when it really was "I Can't Hide."
Isn't it amazing how things happen? Eh? Just unreal. Are you going to do one more?
No,
or
you
want
take
me?
this one, nice big long one. There for you.
There's a great big long one for Big Daddy right there. 1968 this week at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, overzealous police in riot gear brutally beat protesters who were demonstrating against the Vietnam War. The Doors, Graham Nash, and Chicago all write songs about it, of course, and the incident is a clear case of police brutality, that energizes the anti-war movement. For Chicago, using the band name Chicago Transit Authority, it really hits home as it takes place on their turf, actually. On their 1969 debut album, they respond with the song Someday in August of 1968, which includes sections of the famous chant that broke out. The whole world is watching. Jim Morrison writes the event into the Doors song Peach Frog, where he ominously sings Blood in the Streets of the Town of Chicago. Graham Nash covers it on his 1971 track Chicago, We Can Change the World, a call for politicians to open their eyes to the reality of what's going on in America. And his song also brings up the Chicago Seven, who were charged with inciting the riots. So rock and roll really did raise a flag.
Riots.
Yeah, there you go.
It's
right
inciting
there.
riots, that rock and roll stuff.
I'll do one more. 2004, a woman claims to be badly injured by Rick Springfield's ass when he ventures into the audience as part of his show in Syracuse, New York.
Okay.
Have you ever noticed how everything happens in Syracuse, New York? Her lawsuit is the butt of many jokes, but is a real pain in the ass for the singer. The case isn't decided until 2015 when a jury rules in Springfield's favor.
Absolutely.
I would hope so. That would be something really gone wrong if they didn't. Oh my goodness.
Unbelievable.
Let's do the last one.
That would have changed the whole, judicial system. Like, people would have looked at it so differently, going,
Like he's
"Are you-
intentionally stuck his butt in her face.
Yeah, are
like,
you
come
kidding
on.
me?" And most women would love that.
And Rick
Well, they
Springfield.
grab them and bring home.
Rick
Chicks
Springfield.
are all
yeah.
over Rick Springfield. man.
I'm compared to him in the mall all the time when I'm wandering around. Are you sure you're not Rick Springfield, Big Daddy?
Wake up.
All right.
You got to wake up.
2004, this week. Stop with the big grins here. Look at all this stuff. Lou Rawls is awarded an honorary doctorate from Ohio's Wilberforce University in recognition of his charity work with the United Negro College Fund and his lifelong service to the education of historically disadvantaged populations. Great guy, great voice.
Oh, yeah.
Lou Rawls
yeah.
had the smoothest
Oh, yeah.
set of pipes in soul music, man,
Again,
I'll tell you.
People getting
Yeah.
laid.
Yeah. You'll never
that stuff.
find another love like mine.
Never find.
Hey? Tell you,
Oh.
another love like mine. Well, that's not even,
love
I'm not,
like
I won't even try to do Lou Rawls. Forget it. You can't. Lou
I can
was,
get close.
Lou was the man, baby.
Here we go, another couple of tidbits. The longest run at number one by an artist on the UK charts is Simon and Garfunkel's 1970 Bridge Over Troubled Water album with 41 weeks. While the track will forever be attached to both the legendary singers Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel, the song is deeply rooted both in Simon's past and his then present. While the material dealt with artistic and professional issues he was having with art, the song was also rendered with the spiritual sounds of his teenage years.
That's a great album.
Great song.
Reminds me of my parents on a boat.
The guys from Disturbed covered it and did
Yes.
an absolutely brilliant job.
Yeah.
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 That
They,
guy's voice is just wow.
Disturbed cover a lot of stuff, and
Yeah.
they do a great job.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
So 1977, Bob Geldof was quoted, "I just want to get rich, get famous, and get laid."
Well, at least he's truthful about it.
Yeah, he's not lying.
He usually is. Geldof was, and I don't think much for not speaking his mind.
Yet he didn't quite get the fortune.
No.
He ended up giving a lot of his money and shit away too as well. So.
But he had fun doing it usually,
Yeah.
so at least there's
Or
that.
at least we hope so.
Yeah.
1956, underground rocker Gigi Allen is born in Lancaster, New Hampshire. Allen was known for his extremely disturbing acts while on stage, which was often attributed to his traumatic upbringing. Allen's father was a religious fanatic who was very abusive to his family. He famously declares that he will end his life by committing suicide on stage, but ends up dying of a heroin overdose in 1993.
He did some pretty crazy, rude things on stage. Oh, brutal.
Well, again,
Brutal
that
things
kind
on
of
stage.
media attention gets you asses in the seats,
as-
people buying your music.
Well, and like it was, he had a really rough upbringing,
Yeah.
so it came out all the time.
We all did. All right, 1976 at a concert in Santa Monica, California, Neil Young joins Firefall on stage, who are opening for Spirit. When the headliners take the stage, Spirit bass player asks Young to join them as well, But when he does, Spirit's frontman Randy California pushes him off the stage to the horror of his bandmates who stop playing and actually leave.
That's
Like,
that's when an ego gets a little too much.
Yeah,
You know?
it's way too much.
You're
Yeah,
not
like-
Neil Young, buddy. You're with Firefall, okay?
Yeah.
You're,
Well,
you're
his
fairly
bandmates
famous,
went,
but
yeah.
you're not
I
super
want no
famous.
part of this.
That's not the way to handle that situation at all. All right, 1994, during the Meat Puppets set opening for the Stone Temple Pilots at the Beacon Theater in New York City, the famous DJ Howard Stern joins them on stage to jam on Lake of Fire.
Yeah.
Howard Stern is a very talented. People say, "Oh, all this tits and ass stuff," but you know what? He's a great broadcaster
He's a fucking
now.
genius.
He is.
He's a genius.
Absolutely.
What he did, brilliant. Absolutely
You
brilliant.
know, the best radio show I ever heard was the 9/11, the morning of 9/11,
9/11, yeah.
and he was right
I
there.
heard it afterwards. I didn't hear
Two
it.
blocks
Two
away
blocks
from the
away.
towers,
Yeah.
broadcasting, and he wouldn't leave. And just the dialogue that morning was
Yeah,
incredible.
absolutely.
Everybody was just, and they
Glued.
kept glued to the. I've never heard a radio show ever since like that. As far as a talk show goes, the man is amazing. See him on YouTube as well. Yeah, or on he's on Facebook. I don't know,
Oh,
the
he's all
videos.
over. He's all over.
He's all over.
Yeah.
You see the Howard Stern interviews. I have to defend him because a lot of people in our industry think he's one of the leaders.
He's freaking brilliant.
Yeah, him and what's his name with the videos, Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
There's another guy that's
Yeah, I
just
love
top
Joe
notch.
Rogan.
Just top notch.
Yeah.
Oh, Joe.
Is it me now?
Yep.
It is,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah,
I'm going on a
yeah.
tirade here. 2005, Hurricane Katrina pounds New Orleans. One of the victims is Barry Cowsill, of the Cowsills, who dies by drowning at the age of 50. I didn't know that. I didn't know a member of the Cowsills
Yeah.
died in that. But I did hear this one, that Fats Domino, who was 77 at the time, survived after he was rescued from his home in the 9th Ward. And he lost everything.
Everything.
Lost everything.
I was at Katrina. I was working for a company, and we supplied a lot of beds that had to go to the dome, where everybody was being evacuated to. I can't remember the name of it. So I was there a day and a half after Katrina hit, and just shocked, absolutely shocked at what I saw. This the stench, the smell,
Yeah.
bodies just lined up. It was yeah. It was
Devastating.
very devastating. It was a lot to take in. I was there for 3 days, and I couldn't get out fast enough. It was just brutal.
I'll do one more about Harry Chapin, or
No, go ahead.
You want me to do one more? I only did two, and then I went on a spree. You know what I mean, where you're talking off, down,
We're
off.
gonna go through this week again, I think.
Harry Chapin's song "Taxi," as many of Chapin's songs, "Taxi" is partly based in reality. The Sue category is Claire McIntyre, a well-to-do girlfriend from his college years at Cornell. The two did share such dreams, and Chapin to be a performing musician and McIntyre to be singer and actress, and they shared a stormy relationship. So that song, when you hear it, "Taxi," is true. And this other one, which is a great hit, is called "I Am Morning DJ" on
Yes.
WOLD.
I love Harry Chapin.
So there's my whole life story in two Harry Chapin songs.
Yeah.
Maybe. Carry on, darling.
Oh, the most requested video ever on MTV is Nirvana's "Smells Like Teen Spirit." That's not a shocker. Morrissey was once asked to perform "Smelly Cat" on the hit U.S. TV show Friends. We'll do one more.
Smelly cat, smelly cat.
Yeah. 1969, the Birmingham band Earth changes its name when the lead singer Ozzy Osbourne announces on stage that the band's new name is Black Sabbath.
Black Sabbath.
The band had played NIB, The Wizard, Black Sabbath, and Warning.
Sheldon. Sheldon. Sheldon.
The Wizard's one of my all-time favorite songs of theirs. Just the start of that
That's amazing.
is just, it's so eerie and creepy and just, and then it just goes nuts. So, 1976, the Notting Hill riots take place as black youth clash with police at Notting Hill Carnival in England. Members of the clash are present, and the event inspires them to write White Riot as a call for white people to protest with the same furor. A photo from the scene is used on the back cover of their debut album. And
Ouch.
1992 this week, Nirvana headlined the Reading Festival in England, and on the bill is L7, whose front woman, Danita Sparks, throws a used tampon into the crowd.
I can't imagine.
What?
Yep.
Nirvana is teetering on the edge with Kurt Cobain living in Los Angeles away from his Seattle-based bandmates and going deeper into the abyss that would actually end up claiming his life. Despite their pushed on stage in a wheelchair, wearing a hospital gown, he pulls himself up by the microphone, sings a few words of The Rose, and Mock collapses on stage. The crowd is bewildered, but when Cobain gets up, grabs his guitar, and launches into Breed, it kicks off a memorable set that lasts 25 songs and almost 90 minutes.
Woo.
Cobain's stunt isn't the most shocking moment of the festival. Performing earlier in the day, the punk rock group L7 has some technical problems that get the crowd agitated when they hurl items on stage. Frontwoman Danita Spikes retaliates by removing her tampon and throwing it into the crowd.
That's a way to show them their Danita.
Sounds almost like Wendy O. Williams.
That'll fix them.
Can you imagine? I can't. Can you imagine standing there and that comes out and lands, hopefully not on you, even around you? Honestly, I can't.
I don't even want to think about that. Let's just move
Like,
right along.
did she move it on, take it out right on the stage, or was it kind of behind the stage and come out and talk? You know, like the details. I don't really want to know, but you can't help but think.
Don't
what
need to know
was she
that.
thinking?
Oh, she must have been.
Right?
Well, she must have been pissed off. I'll tell you that. 2015, Taylor Swift and Kanye West make peace when Swift presents him with the Video Vanguard Award of the VMAs, where West famously interrupted poor old Taylor 6 years earlier. The truce doesn't last. In February 2016, West raps, "I made that bitch famous" in his song Famous, invoking Swift's ire. You know what? Kanye West is an idiot. Just a total idiot.
That's a whole show, that
And
A show I wouldn't even watch.
No, and it's one I don't want to even talk about.
But I saw a meme this week that was cool, and it said, "I don't care if Taylor Swift was playing in my bathroom, I still wouldn't go."
you know what? I think she's a talented gal. She's the female artist that sold the more albums than any other. She's a nice gal. What's wrong with her? Leave Taylor Swift alone.
The whole thing is, if you don't like her, it's like on Facebook. Scroll past.
Yeah, keep moving.
That's
Well,
it.
why
Let
wouldn't
it
you
go.
like? I mean,
Who
there's
cares?
nothing not to like about Taylor Swift.
If
She's
you don't like music, you don't like something you saw in the media. Oh well, how do you know it's even true? Let it go.
Yeah.
Who cares?
All right, moving on.
A wee tidbit here. The original idea for a revolving wheel on Led Zeppelin's third album came from Jimmy Page, who remembered old gardening catalogs where you'd turn a wheel to different plants and find out what kind of manure to use.
It's a manure wheel.
Oh, wow. Well, that must have blown your mind if you didn't know that
I already knew
one.
that. Oh please, Zeppelin.
Oh, come on.
Oh
you
no,
didn't
I
know
did.
that.
I got news for you. When it comes to Zeppelin.
So
There's a lot I don't know, but when I found that and was doing this, I was like, I know that. I wanted to know if you guys knew that because I picked stuff out.
So you're telling
to
me that
see-
you know the manure story.
Yeah, there's a couple
So
of
you know
albums.
all the shit on Zeppelin. Okay, never mind. Let's move on. Go ahead. Look at my line on there. Is she mad at me again?
Muppet Show? Maybe? We're here?
Mana.
Oh, let's start that again.
Mana.
Oh, here we go again.
Da-da-da.
Mana, da, 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 da.
Da-da-da. Okay.
Oh, God.
Although most people are right to assume that Jimi Hendrix's iconic track Purple Haze is about LSD, the tune has a rather interesting background. Accordingly to Oddball Daily, Jimmy was inspired by a strange newspaper article about a waitress obsessed with one of the regular customers in the cafe she worked in. As the story goes, the deranged woman one day decided to slip some LSD into the man's coffee. Can you imagine? Coffee mug, and led him to her apartment where she held him in captivity for days. Hendrix decided to focus on the unfortunate man using music to tell the story from his perspective. Now, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
when I saw that, I was like,
did not know that.
Purple
it's
Haze.
about LSD, right? But to what degree? And there it is. So,
Oh,
anyways.
it definitely is.
Who's next?
1957, Elvis Presley appeared at the Empire Stadium in Vancouver, Canada. This was only the third time ever Presley had performed outside of the U.S., and for Elvis, it would be the last.
Oh, cheers.
26,000 fans attended the show with tickets costing $150, $250, and $350. Can you imagine going to see a concert for that kind of price today? Not going to happen.
No way.
And that's one of the reasons I also put this up, because I was like, just a reminder, 1957, $1.50 a show to see Elvis Presley, no less.
Yeah.
And
No more than $3.50 a show at the most, depending on where he was playing.
And you know who emceed that show or was a big part of it was Red Robinson, who was Canada's first real DJ.
Right.
And he died
okay.
last year. He died last year, sadly. But he's an icon, and let's not forget Red Robinson. He was a great rock, and he was a very good friend of Elvis's. Just thought I'd throw that in there as a little tidbit.
So he got it for free.
Another little
Yeah.
tidbit.
Yeah.
1968, Decca Records released what has been called the Rolling Stones' most political album, or song, Street Fighting Man, which was written after Mick Jagger attended a march in 1968 anti-war rally in London's U.S. Embassy, during which the mounted police attempted to control a crowd of 25,000. The single was kept out of the U.S. top 40, reaching number 48 at the time because many radio stations refused to play it based on what was perceived as its submersive, lyrics.
See, now that should have been a top 10 song,
Should have
but
been.
it wasn't. But
Great tune. I love that.
Oh, it's one of their classics.
Absolutely.
One of their classics.
Okay, are we going back to me now?
Yeah, you can go
You
ahead.
did Elvis, and then he did
Oh,
that.
did
I
I?
thought I did.
Am I out of turn?
No, did you do Elvis? Oh, okay. That's me. Told you I haven't had much sleep last night.
You're too high to the
Take
clouds
two.
there, baby.
Take three.
Your seat's too high. 2002, NASA announced that Lance Bass, singer with
Sorry.
NSYNC, was to become the first celebrity astronaut. His $23.8 million place on the Soviet Soyuz module would make him the youngest person at 23 years of age to go into orbit. Bass ended up not taking part in the flight after failing to pay his $20 million ticket on the craft.
I wouldn't go on a Russian Soyuz rocket if you paid me $20 million freaking dollars, man.
I'll tell you. 2004, UK medical magazine Thorax issued a warning to musical fans saying that listening to loud music in the car can give you a collapsed lung. I love this one. One 19-year-old had been treated in Bristol after his left lung collapsed as his 1,000-watt bass box boomed out in his Fiat Panda.
I had 1,400 watts in my car and I blew out the back window.
Well, that's what I mean. So can you imagine what it's doing to the human
Well,
body? And they actually show you photos of the lungs and what's going on and how it works and when this happens. But yeah, I couldn't sit in a car like that. No way. My head would explode.
You.
So 2000, yeah, me. 2006, the Times ran a story on demands of rock stars went on tour. Here's a few of what they demanded. Ozzy Osbourne insists on an eye, ear, nose, and throat doctor at each venue. The Beach Boys require a licensed masseur. Meatloaf, a mask, and one small tank of oxygen. I think that was in later years. I get the heart and other issues he was having. David Bowie requests that the dressing room temperature is between 14 and 18 degrees Celsius. And Paul McCartney must have a large arrangement of white Casablanca lilies, which are beautiful, in his dressing room. Mick Jagger must have an onstage auto cue with the lyrics to all the songs, and it would also tell him the name of the city in which they were performing,
Well, you can-
which I can only imagine. Their tours were massive.
Hello,
Where am
Minneapolis.
There you are, man.
Hello, Minneapolis,
Yeah.
and you're in Montreal. That doesn't work.
I don't blame them. They did a lot of touring, man.
Well,
They gotta be
that's-
tired.
You know, I don't blame them for that.
I don't
Yeah,
either.
you
Not
can
at
only be
all.
your very best when you have that helping you do your show properly.
I used
You
to
know.
be in hotels 300 nights a year. I always forgot where the hell I was.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you. I'd wake up with, oh, yeah, I remember checking into this room. Yeah, it just becomes a blur, a wash. 2014, the Raskins, who have paid $1 million to join Motley Crue on tour, are accosted by members of the headliner road crew who come on stage and spray them with urine during their set at Darien Lake Performing Arts Center,
Can you imagine?
according to a lawsuit filed by the band. Yeah, that's just ignorant. Absolutely ignorant. Not
Like, this
funny.
is all bodily function stuff
Yeah.
that people are.
Not funny.
Oh my God.
And another, I'll do a little tidbit here, and then we'll kick it back to Big Daddy. The original idea for Revolving Wheel and Led Zeppelin's, well, we already know that one, so.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
going.
No.
When I copied it, I think I recopied
we got a
it.
double copy here. So,
There you go. So go down to the next one.
There we go.
Told
Wrote
you, I
that
didn't
one.
get much sleep last night. It was last minute
Commonly
preparing.
considered as the very first heavy metal riff in history, Iron Butterfly's 60 hit Inagata Davida gets its particular title thanks to singer Doug Ingles' drunken rehearsal. Being highly intoxicated in the studio, the vocalist wasn't able to pronounce "In the Garden of Eden,"
I didn't know that.
resulting with a "In the Garden of Eden."
That's
However, the rest of the guys
hilarious,
liked it,
man.
and how it sounded, giving the name,
brand
giving
new
the tune a
name.
brand new name.
My God, you blew my mind, man. I had no idea. And I often wondered, I thought it was some language that I didn't understand, you know what I mean? And sometimes songs just go by you.
Yeah.
I love that song, and I've
So
always
everyone was big.
I often wondered why is it called Inagata de Vida? I thought it was a Spanish term.
Or some term.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
so I just took it for granted. I didn't know it was
In the
Inagata
Garden
de Vida.
of Eden, baby.
I'll finish this last little one off here. Billy Joel's first record was a Dave Brubeck Time Out album.
Billy Joel's a great
Great
musician, man.
musician, great entertainer, everything.
Just a class guy, too. 1967, a young guitarist named Boz Scaggs joins the Steve Miller Band, and the blues band led by his childhood friend Steve Miller.
Now, I didn't know that.
I knew that.
I
knew
didn't.
that.
See,
I
there
knew
was
that.
something for me
You
when I
know,
was doing this.
I mean, and Boz is so talented, man. That album he put out with Low Down on it.
Oh, that
and,
whole album, Georgia, Low Down.
Lido Shuffle.
Lido.
One of my
Oh.
favorite songs to dance to, man.
It's on my favorites in my car.
Yeah,
Let me
just
tell you,
a
it comes
great
on
song.
like 6 times a day when I'm driving for a few hours. I love
And
it.
did
Yeah.
you know that Steve Miller's father was the bass guitarist for Les Paul and
No?
Mary Ford?
Didn't know
Steve
that.
Miller
I know
grew
Mary
up
Ford, but I didn't know it
with
was.
with Les Paul.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Really? Didn't know that.
Grew up with Les Paul in his house, learning guitar from him. I'm like, you don't get a better guitar teacher than freaking Les Paul. You know, and even Mary, she was an amazing guitar player as well. So, yeah.
All right. 1976, West Coast musical impresario Lou Adler. Go out and turn my bike on, will you?
Yeah.
And his
Warm it up for
right-hand
you.
man, he's disappeared with my bike. Never mind. 1976, West Coast musical impresario Lou Adler and his right-hand man Neil Silver are kidnapped in Los Angeles by a couple who ransomed them for 25 grand. The couple are caught within the week, but an accomplice flees, and he's still out there today. 1988, the Rock and Roll Cuisine Cookbook is published. Here I go getting hungry again. 95 recipes from various musicians. Selections include Yoko Ono's Dream Soup, Sunshine in a Bowl, I'm sure, Cher's boyfriend-approved macaroni salad, Mick Jagger's shrimp curry, and Weird Al Yankovic's peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
I want to see, and I meant to look it up, and I didn't have time. But I'm curious to see because it's Weird Al.
Yeah.
It ain't going to be just a peanut butter and jelly.
Curious.
So
Do
you-
I got to remember to look that up.
Do you know, this is off topic, what Elvis had for breakfast? 5 banana splits. 5.
Seriously?
Yeah.
No wonder he gained so much weight in the latter
Wonder he
years.
died.
He started eating them
Holy
when he was
Moses.
getting a little bit larger, I guess. But I couldn't believe that. Yeah, 5 of them. I don't know if it was every morning or once a
one
week.
anymore, but I love banana splits.
I couldn't even do one right
But I
now.
love them. But
I'll do this
I-
teeny little one here from 2010, and I'll give it back to Leah. Apple launches a social media network this week in 2010 called Ping, which is integrated into the iTunes software. A rare flop for the company. It closes 2 years later. Whatever happened to Ping?
Ping. Yeah. if I can
Machine that
remember it.
goes
One of the few
ping.
flops,
Yeah.
real flops that they had. They have many flops, just they overcome them somehow.
Yeah, and hide them under the carpet kind of thing.
All
right, we gotta get moving
So
here.
2011.
So, yeah, go ahead.
2011, while boarding a Southwest flight from Oakland to Burbank, Green Day's Billy Joe Armstrong is forced off the flight after giving some lip to a flight attendant who asked him to pull up his sagging pants. Armstrong doesn't take kindly to the request, and eventually he and his traveling companion are booted from the flight.
Billy's a
Finish it
great
off.
guy,
Finish
but
it
he's
off.
got a bit of a
Finish it off.
temper. Billy's got a bit of a
You sure?
temper.
Yeah, go ahead.
Armstrong takes to Twitter, writing, "Just got kicked off a Southwest flight because my pants sagged too low." The tweet is quickly retweeted by his followers, forcing Southwest to release a statement apologizing for the incident.
When you have that many followers, yeah, it's gonna.
But whose business is it they got sagging pants?
Exactly.
You don't like it?
And-
Too
And
bad.
you're sitting on a plane. You're not standing there with your arse hanging out. You're sitting.
Billy
You know?
Billy Joe has got a little bit of a temper, though. He's a
there-
good guy. He's a good guy. Great
There's
musician,
some
of
cocky,
course.
Egoism going on there.
Yeah, but
Yeah, he
still.
got a bit of
And
a
I wasn't
temper. He's all
cutting
right,
that
though.
story off. I was going to say we got to wrap it up. Let's finish the last story, Leah. I was doing a segue.
Sorry, I didn't know.
I
I
was
thought you
doing
were
a
done.
segue.
See how much of a bully she is to her,
What?
to us? I swear, she's all over us.
I
And
thought he
the
thought
poor
he was
bugger's just trying to
done.
hand it over to Leah, and Leah's like, no. Never mind.
We got to have fun.
Yeah, we sure do. How are we for time anyway? What's going on?
30,
Yeah.
23.
Wait,
Bang on.
good timing.
Bang on. I got people coming over. We're at Lee's Garage. We got a great jam tonight. I'm looking forward to it. So
I gotta figure tonight it's busy and I gotta go.
Yeah, well, I always got to go because I got duties to do on the
but I will
weekends.
try and
Me
I
too.
will try and
Trust me.
record it. So
But for those of you around the world that don't know who Amanda is, we're going to bring her in now. Amanda is on our local video show. She's local on our local radio. She has her own radio show, Halton Hills Online. And we are representing Tirana here
Tirana.
worldwide. We got the Blue Jays going who are well, never
I'm
mind.
wearing blue.
And
blue
I've got
for
my
the
Raptors. I got my Raptors.
I got my blue on.
And I'll probably wear something from the Leafs next week. Maybe we'll get some
Bada, bada, bada?
toucan or something. Swing bada 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 bada.
first game for the Leafs, September 25th against Ottawa preseason. I'm
Oh,
looking
you're
forward
gonna
to
get me
that.
going. on
Preseason.
that,
What's the
yeah.
first opening game? Montreal again?
August 3rd, I
Probably,
believe.
yeah.
Montreal. Yeah.
We'd like to say hello to Radio
Or, October
425.
3rd, sorry.
Radio 425 in Windsor, Detroit, who are carrying the Top 40 timeline, and the Big 20 with Bill Smith, of course, which is our new music show. We should tell people a little bit about that. Bill Smith and I go through Spotify and the local radio charts and his charts, and we put 20 new songs up every week from every genre.
Yeah.
And it's on Radio GTA on the weekends, and it's on Radio 425, of course, as well, who are sponsoring this week's show. As a matter of fact, the check was in the mail from them, isn't it?
That's what I heard.
Yeah, so we'll go with that.
Have a great weekend, everybody. Long weekend here in Canada.
They didn't tell me about the check. You see that, right? I'm the bully.
I know, see?
Yeah.
Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We love you guys all so much, and have a great long weekend.
And watch this, I'm going to get it right. Isn't that amazing? Concentration does
Oh, you
everything.
did it back. Oh, you
I
did
did
the
it
backwards
backwards.
one. Yes,
That's at
yes,
the
I
end.
saw
See?
that.
Huh?
I
And
don't
that's
remember what we say at the end of this video, though.
Uniting community worldwide.
Right, that's it. I knew it.
Have a great week, everyone.
Bye, guys.
I'm wearing a dress next week to spice it up.